Okay, we are back with the survival building system. And I'm just going to very quickly go into Package Manager. And I'm going to look up the system's always so slow. 2D, and I want this one. 2D sprite shape. This is just playing around with, I guess. Don't technically need to do this. I mean, if you have sprites, then you don't need to do this at all. I'm just doing it so we don't have the same cube over and over again. That, if you've never seen the sprite shape, then this is, if this is new, then hopefully it'll be something cool for you. So, sprite shape, primarily made for 2D games, obviously, but it's pretty cool. Like, I can now go new sprite shape, right? And if I go to 2D, I have this cube, right? So I can now edit the shape and say we want to make, I don't know, a log or some wood. I can shape this a little differently. Something like that, maybe. And call it good. And then maybe I want to make another one. Just move it over here. Edit this guy down, and let's, I don't know, let's make a little stone or something. Something like that. Nothing too special. There we have two little shapes. Now they don't have materials. So I'm going to take my wood material and put it there. Create a material called stone. And I'm going to stick it on this guy. And let's go and make him a more of a stony color. Something like that. Now I'm just going to prefab those. Alright. So, come out of 2D, go to these woods. Apparently I can only do one at a time. Oh, he's not going to let me do it. Well, son of a gun. Because it's a sprite render, not a sprite rate. I don't have no way to convert that. Alright, well, let's just ignore that for now. I'll figure something out later. I was really hoping I could do that. So we have wood, and I'm still not sure why this does that, but because now if where's our canvas? Ah, the wood's working now. I must needed to reboot things, I suppose. So I'm going to take one of these things, take this guy, and I'm going to change this one to stone, and I'm going to change this guy to stone, and I'm going to change its color to our stone color. of those out. And let's, I don't know, I suppose we'll just give these things a sprite of some type. Alright, well, let's do this knob. And under the stone one, stone needs to be prefabbed. This is original prefab. It's also got the knob. Be nice if I can change the color of those though. Let's give him, oh, that one. A little different anyways. So just to make sure that's working right, so all they have is a different name. And what did we have? They don't have their colliders anymore, because that was on. Well, son of a... Alright, so now take off the autosave. I just quickly need to redo the trigger event. Untrigger enter with player. We hit the player, we store the player. We keep set event data. And we set, oh, we also got to get owner. Store as self. So set game object as self, store int as quantity, set string as name, and object as icon, and send event to game object the player, and I forget the name, so save. Where's our little player here? So it's inventory. We're sending add item. I'm just going to copy that. Paste it. Add item. And I'm just going to copy that entire FSM, go into wood after I save it. Paste component values. Change this one back to wood. Give this one its knob sprite back. Save and go. So now, why are these not triggering? I have a rigid body. We are player. Oh, these aren't marked as triggers. So let's mark those as triggers, because that's going to help. Then we're trying to trigger a trigger. There we go. Right, so if we have our wood, whoops, right, we have wood and we have 15, and that's our sprite. And we've seen that in the last video, but if I move over the stone now, well, we've got a new one. We have stone. We have 5 stone. We've got a different sprite in there. Right? So as you see, we're kind of building a thing. So I think we should get a little way just to display this portion so you can see this portion a little better. So we're not looking at that stupid thing. So all I'm going to do is we have this guy here. And we have this master. So I'm going to put another FSM called control. And it's just going to get button down. Or I should do get key down, I guess. Get key down. And we'll say I. There's I, there's I. So, we'll say open. And all we're going to do is, for starters, we are going to activate this guy. Right? Activate game object. The inventory, and I'm going to copy him, put him over here, paste before, and deactivate him. And get key down, copy, paste. Make it so it's nice and clear, call it close. Very, very simple, right? So now it should start closed. We hit I, it opens, I, it closes. Very simple. So when it opens though, we wish to see what the hell we have, right? I mean, seeing this lovely graphic I designed is great, but what the hell's the stuff in it? So the inventory has this thing, and we have a slot, right? So this slot, we know it has a image, which is its icon. In fact, I'm going to change its name. I'm going to change its tag too, just because this might help us. Icon, and I'm going to activate it for now. Quantity, which is a text, give it a tag. So we can differentiate things. There we go. And save. So when we hit I, and this guy opens, I'm going to build an FSM here. Called Populate Slots. And it's going to be populate. And destroy. So we have two methods now, or two events. We have populate and we have destroy. Whoop. Meant to make that a global. Destroy. So on the control, when we hit over here, we want to send event to game object our owner to the populate slots to populate. I'm going to copy this, bring it over here, paste before, and to destroy. So what is it to populate slots? Well, we have a variable for this guy, and we're going to call him our holder. And we have a variable for our player. That's where we're going to get our data from. So when we populate, we want to, one sec. All right. We want to gather the data from the player and create, so we'll also need a slot. Create one of those under the holder, right? So we would For example, iterate. Do I have iterate? No. So I'm going to go under Playmaker, ecosystem. I'm going to get iterate. This is just a simple way to deal with the amount of times you want to do something. So I'm going to show you what we need to do. So we have, say for example, we want to build that many slots, 24 slots. Okay. So we want to, now we're populating, we want to iterate. And our end index is going to be 24. So we're going to run this cycle 24 times. Right? So each cycle that we run, right, we're going to go whoop, 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 whoop. We want to create an object, a slot, and the parent is the holder. And we're going to store this as current slot. We need an array of current slots, and it is a game object type. And I'm going to do array add, not ass, array add, current slots, we're going to add the current slot. Right, so now if I finish and go over here, this guy, array get next. If we go through the current slots, this guy is going to just destroy object, current slot, and go back. And when we're done, let's array clear and array resize. Just make sure this array is empty. Right, so now if I hit play, we should have, we hit I, we made one too many slots. Right, we have all those slots there, just like that. If I hit I, they're gone. I hit I, they're open. Hit I, they're gone. Right, so obviously that number we put in was just one too high. So let's take that down by 1. So we obviously want to do more than just create the slots. We also want to get the data. So we want this index, current index, and when we hit, so we're going to come down to a new state before this, and then we'll go down to here. So when we get this index, we need to array list get, and we have a, I don't know if I could actually do the pre-fill on this one. Let's see. No, of course not. So on the player, we have, what do we need? We don't necessarily need the names, but we do need the quantity and the icon. So let's do inventory quantity, copy, paste, at index, current index, type integer, result current quantity, and then I'm going to do another array list get, and this one's going to be the icon, copy, paste at that same index, but this one's type object, object type unity, and sprite s, result is current icon. Okay, so we've gotten our data for that iteration. We've created our object, we've added to the array. Now let's go down to here, so we'll set the data now. So let's, on the created slot, we have to get child, and we need 2 of those. So of the created, of the current slot, that's what we're, yeah, the created is the current slot. So we're, of the current slot, we want the icon, and this is why we gave it a tag, icon. We'll store it as current icon. And then we want current slot, child quantity with tag quantity, current quantity. Uh-oh, we already have a current quantity. Alright, we'll do slot quantity. But now I want to change this one. So I want, when you start dealing with inventories, quantity, you end up with, oh, that one already exists too. Alright, well, you usually end up with a lot of variables, and you want to really try to keep organized because it gets really confusing really quickly. So now that we have those, we want to set UI text. So this one is slot quantity is, right, and we want to set that's the icon, and this the current quantity. So we're setting this with current quantity. And then we also want to set sprite. So again, this one is going to be on, here we have current icon, and the sprite is current icon. Ooh, but spelled with lowercase. Oh wait, no, because that's the child, right? So we're getting this icon. Oh, we never did this part, did we? Unity engine and sprite. Oh, why is that being silly? So you current icon. So now, yeah, you're a sprite. You hold that reference, you little bugger. So, alright, we get those. Now we're going to set the sprite with the current icon. And then we can finish. So we do have a little issue there. So let's see, right? Because if I hit I, oh, we have one, apparently. And if we drag this guy around, and we hit I, we still have one. Now why is it only doing one? Because he is on an issue he doesn't want to finish. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, we screwed that one up. That's on the player. And sprite. So let's see if that fixes it just by that one error. Nope. Alright, so if he wants to be a pain in my bum, then we're going to get rid of him. And we instead will get component, move to the bottom of the current icon. We can get the component of the current icon, which the current icon is sprite. And then set property of current icon to we want to get the we don't want we don't want to set property of a sprite. We want to set property of an image. So let's change this guy. So he's getting this is fine. So we got the current icon, but we don't want to get the component of the current icon. Delete that now. But we do want to get component of the object type, the current image. So Unity and image, or KUI image. There we go. So now we're going to come over here and we're going to get component. Unless I've already put it in, which I did. Delete that one. So get component on the current icon, because that's this guy. He's a game object. We're going to get the current image. Set property. Move to the bottom of the current image. We're going to set his sprite. And the sprite we're setting is the current icon. Right, so now we have a whole whack of blocks. Really need to space those out differently, but like let's just go no, I think those are fine. I think we should just drop this guy here, right? I think this is the issue. Oop. He needs to be 40. So slot this guy 40. Save and out. it's a little better. I mean, well, you guys will get the point. It works. So if we pick up one of those or two of those, and I now hit this, oh, see, we have an issue now. And I knew that was going to happen too. If I was smart, I would have prevented this earlier. So we run through and we pick up all this different stuff. It doesn't matter what order you pick it up in. And I hit I, see how it works, and then it just continues off the last one over and over and over again. So that's the part we need to fix. Is right at the beginning of this iterate, right? Because this is if we get an item. We're assuming there's an item in every slot, but there might not be an item in every slot, right? So if we get, actually I can probably put this one up here and put this one down here. So let's start by getting the data, but then after we get the data, we need to check. You know, is there an icon here? You know, is there? Well, we could do quantity, right? Quantity is a nice easy one. So int compare. So if, and what do we call that one? Current index, current quantity. So if current quantity is 0, it's empty. If it's less, well, it's going to be empty. If it's greater, it has item. Okay, so if it has an item, just that's all. It's just going to run through the whole thing. But if it's empty, if it's an empty slot, we still want to create and we still want to add it. So we can copy this guy. But here, we're going to do things a little differently. So I'm going to copy him and bring him over because we need some of this stuff, right? We still want to get the child. So, but now we'll just set the text to 0, and we can do this part, but now we're going to say, what do we want for like a default value if we have nothing, right? Let's just use, I don't know, this little check mark. He's a lot different than the rest of them. And then he can loop up. Okay, so now we hit I, we see all our little check marks in the zeros. And if I drag my player over and grab some of those and hit I, oh, we still have an issue. We have 10 and 15. It is still looping. Okay, yeah. So let's go here and we want to set these to 23. Save. Prefill. Nope, that's not working because that's going to give us the way it's adding in. Okay, let's take that back away then, if it wants to be like that. So we have, if we hit play, we take our capsule we take one item, and if we look, okay, we have our one item. It is wood, and we hit I, and we have wood all over the place. So current index. The current quantity is 5. But the current quantity, the current index at 23. Okay, yeah, so we have to reset some of those, because I mean, if it's getting something and there's nothing there, it needs to reset those values. So let's just put this actually above this. He feeds into that. So these guys can feed into, so this guy's like our reset. There we go. So what the reset's going to do is we need to reset icon and quantity. Set int value of the current quantity to 0, 0. Well, 0. Set object value of the current icon. I believe so we're more or less just doing this. Is that check mark? Which is fine. We can use that check mark. So of the current icon. Oh, whoops. That. Alright, so that should reset those values. So now we hit that stuff, we hit I, there we go. 10, 5, bunch of check marks, right? Just like this guy. Wood, stone, even though our icons suck. 10, 5, and you know, so it matches, everything's good. Right, now if I grab more, you know, the values go up. So now we have just a way. Now I'm not going to add too much more functionality to that end, just so that we can see it. You can see it going in and how it kind of reacts. What are we doing for time? That's probably almost as far as we want to go. So next we want to look at recipes and the ability to say build a floor. I think would be our next step, right? What is it when we open this thing up, open another page and say we want to build a floor or something like that? What we need X material, and so we will go through that. But for now, we'll talk to you guys later.